Thames Water Utilities Ltd, known as Thames Water, is the private utility company responsible for the public water supply and wastewater treatment in large parts of Greater London, the Thames Valley, Surrey, Gloucestershire, Wiltshire, Kent, and some other areas of the United Kingdom. Thames Water is the UK's largest water and wastewater services company, and supplies 2.6 gigalitres of drinking water per day, and treats 4.4 gigalitres of wastewater per day. Thames Water's 15 million customers comprise 27% of the UK population. Thames Water is responsible for a range of water management infrastructure projects including, the Thames Water Ring Main around London, Europe's largest wastewater treatment works and the UK's first large-scale desalination plant. Infrastructure proposals by the company include the proposed £4.2 billion London Tideway Tunnel, and the proposed reservoir at Abingdon, Oxfordshire, which would be the largest enclosed or bunded reservoir in the UK. Thames Water is regulated under the Water Industry Act 1991 and is owned by Kemble Water Holdings Limited, a consortium formed in late 2006 by Australian-based Macquarie Group's European Infrastructure Funds specifically for the purpose of purchasing Thames Water. Other large shareholders in recent years include, BT Pension Scheme, the Abu Dhabi Investment Authority and the China Investment Corporation. The name of the company reflects its role providing water to the drainage basin of the River Thames and not the source of its water, which is taken from a range of rivers and boreholes. History: Thames Water can trace its history back to numerous earlier companies and individuals stretching back to the early 17th century. Performance: every day, Thames Water abstracts/extracts, treats and supplies 2.6 gigalitres of potable tap water from 100 water treatment works via 288 clean water pumping stations through 31,100 kilometres of managed water mains to 9 million customers across London and the Thames Valley. It maintains 30 raw water reservoirs and 235 underground service reservoirs. Likewise, it daily removes, treats and disposes 4.4 gigalitres of wastewater from 15 million customers using 2530 sewage pumping stations through 109,400 kilometres of managed sewerage mains to 348 sewage treatment works across an area of 13,000 kilometres to of South England. On October 1, 2011, it adopted 40,000 kilometres, an additional 60% of private sewers and lateral drains to add to its then stock of 68,000 kilometres, giving a new network of 108,000 kilometres. By 2015, this figure had grown to 109,400 kilometres managed sewerage mains. Before October 1, 2016, it is obliged to adopt 5,000-plus private sewage pumping stations to add to its current stock of 2530 managed sewage pumping stations. Thames Water produces biosolid fertilizer as a byproduct from the waste treatment, and supplies this to local farms. It also recovers phosphates, an increasingly important source of a dwindling naturally occurring mineral. As of 2013, it recovered approximately 18 MW, or 12.5% of its total energy requirements from renewable electricity generated from biogas collected from the sewage. Further biogas capacity, the burning of fatbergs removed from London sewers and substantial solar farms have enabled the company to announce a 2015-16 target of generating 36 MW or 20% of its total energy requirements from renewable sources, a 2020 target of self-generating 33% of electricity needs, and a commitment to 100% renewable energy eventually. Health and safety. In December 2014, Thames Water pleaded guilty to a charge under the Health and Safety at Work etc. Act 1974 after the death at work of one of its workers. They were fined £300,000 with £61,000 prosecution costs. The incident occurred at their copper mill water treatment works in Walthamstow, London E17 in April 2010 when an excavator reversed over and killed the worker in a slow sand filter. The prosecution followed an investigation by the Health and Safety Executive. Finance. As of 2014, Thames Water provides the second cheapest residential water and sewerage charges of all the combined water and sewerage companies. Since 2007, It has made capital investments at least £1 billion per year in its infrastructure, the largest such annual investment within the UK water industry. In 2014 to 2015, this figure was £1.4 billion. This level of investment has allowed the company to defer, but not avoid, substantial portions of its corporation tax liability in line with UK tax law. Leakage 2001-06, Thames Water was repeatedly criticised for the amount of water that leaked from its pipes by the industry regulator Ofwat and was fined for this. In May 2006 the leakage was nearly 900 megalitres per day, and in June that year Thames Water missed its target for leakage reduction for the third year in a row. The Consumer Council for Water, a customers group, accused Thames Water for continuing to miss their targets for the past 5 years. In July 2006, instead of a fine which would have gone to the Exchequer, the company was required to spend an extra £150 million on repairs. 2007-8, Thames Water has hit its Ofwat-agreed annual leakage reduction target for the past 9 years running. Indiana, 2006-07, the company stated that it had reduced its daily loss through leaks by 120 millilitres day to an average of 695 millilitres day. For 2009-10 Ofwat reported leakage was 668.9 millilitres day. In its price control determination for the period 2010 to 2015, Ofwat did not allow the funds needed to finance a significant further reduction in leakage and used the assumption that leakage would be 674 millilitres day in 2010-11 and 673 millilitres day from 2011 December. Indiana, 2011-12, actual leakage was 637 millilitres day. In 2012-13, 646 millilitres day. In 2013-14, 644 millilitres day. In 2014 to 2015, 654 millilitres day. The company has achieved these reductions by the recent successes in meeting leakage targets have mitigated the earlier failures to meet targets. As a result, Thames Water now leaks slightly less water than at privatisation in 1989, having reduced leakage from its 31,100 kilometres network of water pipes by more than a third since its 2004 peak to its current lowest ever level. As of 2013 and with an older network profile, Thames Water leaked 25.8% of supply, slightly less than Severn Trent at 27%. As of 2015 Thames Water leaks 25.1% of supply. Pollution in the period 2005-13 Thames Water was the most heavily fined water company in the UK for pollution incidents, paying £842,500 for 87 events. It also paid the largest fine for a single incident of £204,000. Following concern that the level of environmental pollution fines in the water industry was too low, in 2013 the Sentencing Council proposed a significant increase in the level of fines. The proposals would see the average fine increase to £250,000 and the maximum £2 million. Conversely, in 2014, Thames Water admitted that it had accidentally over-reported the number of properties at high risk of sewage flooding between 2005-10. It agreed a compensation package for customers of £86 million. The Thames Tideway. Over centuries of London's growth from medieval times to the Victorian age, the natural tributary system of the Thames Tideway was converted first into public open sewers and then closed over into covered sewers which emptied directly into the River Thames. Joseph Bazalgette's remediation of the ensuing 1850s Great Stink renewed much of London's sewerage mains infrastructure. However, the new design was not intended to cope with the doubling of London's population over the following 150 years. The concreting of huge amounts of London's green spaces causes substantial rainwater runoff into the drainage and sewerage systems which had been expected to soak into the ground. As a result, even small amounts of rainfall in certain circumstances can cause London's outdated Victorian sewerage system to fail over, and release untreated sewage mixed with rainwater directly into the Thames Tideway. Each year, on average, There are 50 to 60 such incidents and a total of 39 million m3, or 39 million tons, is released. Indiana, 2013-14, exceptional weather conditions and flooding caused a total release of 55 million m3, or 55 million tons. The released effluent follows the ebb and flow of the tidal Thames, and can take up to 3 days to exit the tideway into the estuary. For this reason, Thames Water advises against swimming in the Thames Tideway and, by extension, walking in the tidal strand area. Despite this pollution, large marine mammals are increasingly found in the Thames Tideway and estuary. The first 2 stages of the London Tideway improvements are upgrades to 5 sewage treatment works and construction of the Lee Tunnel, due for completion in 2015. Together, these are expected to result in an annual discharge reduction of 40%. This is equivalent to a reduction of 16 million m3 or 16 million tons to about 23 million m3 or 23 million tons of effluent. The third stage is the Thames Tideway Tunnel, which has been proposed by the Thames Tideway Strategic Study, including Thames Water, as an effective solution to deal with most of the remaining problem. On September 12, 2014, planning consent was formally approved by the UK government. On August 24, 2015, the building contracts were awarded for the western section, the central section and the eastern section. The necessity for action has added urgency because of imminent water quality fines of up to £1 billion by the European Commission on the UK government. Other incidents: in September 2007, 5 kilometres of the River Wandle, Greater London was polluted. In January 2009, Thames Water pleaded guilty and was fined £125,000 and ordered to pay £21,335 in clean-up and investigation costs. In February 2010, on appeal, the fine was found to be manifestly excessive, and was reduced to £50,000. On 5 June 8, 2011, more than 230,000 m3, or 230,000 tons, of sewage were released from Mogden sewage treatment works, killing 26,000 fish. Between 14 and 16 August 2011, Thames Water polluted the Faringdon stream, in Faringdon, Oxfordshire. The company was fined £10,000 and ordered to pay costs of £4,488. On October 29, 2011, Thames Water released thousands of tons of raw sewage into the River Crane, Greater London, killing thousands of fish, when a 6-ton valve jammed during routine maintenance. Despite tankering and alternative routing, the volume of sewage from Heathrow overwhelmed the operations. Thames Anglers Conservancy's Robin Vernon said, it will take a decade to repair all the damage done by the sewage spill. Everything in there is just dead now. In 2013. Fungus and slime in the River Crane was attributed to run-off of de-icer from Heathrow getting into the river. In 2014, Thames Water blamed recent pollution on fat poured down drains by local customers. On December 9, 2011, Thames Water was fined £60,000 after releasing sewage sludge into the Fowdry Brook, killing up to 20,000 fish in a 3-mile stretch from Silchester, Hampshire. In September 2012, clogged up pumps caused sewage to be released into the Chase Brook, near Newbury. A £250,000 fine imposed in August 2014 was adjudged lenient on appeal in 2015. The pumps were replaced by improved pumps. Local planning. In 2011, the company found itself involved in a controversial redevelopment plan for the Bath Road Reservoir in its hometown of Reading. An appeal against Reading Borough Council's rejection of the plan was dismissed by the planning inspector in January 2011. Full planning permission has since been granted on December 10, 2012. Flooding. The exceptional rain and weather conditions of 2013-14 caused swollen rivers and several low-lying Thames water treatment works to be submerged under flood water. In February 2014, the River Ash caused flooding in homes in Staines-upon-Thames. This flooding was exacerbated by a 2-day delay by Surrey County Council's Gold Control Flood Control Group in ordering Thames Water to close a sluice gate on a Thames Water aqueduct. Thames Water considered it had been following an existing protocol agreed with Surrey County Council and the Environment Agency. References. External links: Thames Water website.